So this week, I feel like the National Police Service are actually going to suffer in the hands of Kipchumba Murkomen. As I said last time, uh, giving Murkomen the docket, the National Police or the Interior Security might be a good thing for the guy up there, but it will be a really crazy thing for one, wananchi and the police. So today I want to talk about two things surrounding Murkomen and his docket specifically. Thing number one was the summit that he held with wananchi, and he was questioned about police officers, magari zao, fueling and all that. And the other thing is about the wages that the police have actually been paid today. That is the police officers who are actually involved in providing security during the CHAN tournaments in Kenya. So they have been paid, and there's a lot of controversy around that. But before your story, Ote, let's just listen to the kind of questions people had for him and the kind of, okay, saying stupid is a bit harsh, but I'll say it's a stupid answer, knowing that we all know police akikwambia yeka gari mafuta, it's something corruption related and so on. So let's first of all hear about this. I'll give you my 2 cents later on.
Okay, I have a simple question to you. A question that kila mtu najua. Let me talk in Swahili. When we come to report, every time we come to report, you're usually told by your people that weka gari mafuta tuende mabusu. So I need to know, do you fuel your vehicles, or are we the ones who will be fueling your vehicles?
All right. With regards to the issue on fuel, when you report a matter to the police station, we acknowledge there's a gap in certain parts of the country based on what is made available to the police, given the distances that they cover. We are already making arrangements in terms of providing additional budgets, but also to review their locations, because you find someone will travel a distance that takes half of their location for the whole month to actually access the fuel. So these are genuine concerns that working.
Okay, just before we actually listen to that, he spoke about when you call a police officer and they need to move between certain distances that are actually not accounted for from point A to point B, they end up burning way more than they had initially budgeted for. But that is not a major concern for us citizens. Yeah, if you know you're going to move from point A to point B as an institution, whether it's a police station, a police post, an investigative body, whether it's the NIS, the DCI and so on, you need to have allocations for all this. But let's proceed and listen to what the initial video was about, the PS for interior. Now let's listen to what the CS had to say.
On the question of fuel, just to add with examples what Pia said, there is in the police vehicle leasing, and I wanted really to say this because many Kenyans think when the police say let them mafuta, they actually mean let a key to your corruption. It's not true. The real truth is that in our leasing program, we are giving 450 liters of fuel to police officers for an entire month. So if he is in Kibish and is picking that fuel from Kitale, the one he's using from Kibish to Kitale and then go back is already, by the time he arrives at the police station, he just has a few days of operation and the fuel is over. So you go to most of the police stations and they tell you don't have fuel. If it's an urban area, they are running all over, chasing criminals left, right, center. By 20th of the month, the last 10 days of the month, they don't have fuel. So again, from our experience engaging them, they have proposed that if we can take it to 650 liters, it might be useful. On the question of...
then again, the amount of liters does not even really matter to mwananchi wa kawaida. I'm trying to think of it in this way or in this sense. They have run their operations hapa na pale and then they're out of fuel. Does it mean that if they get an emergency, you won't really get to attend to that emergency as a police officer or as a police post? Where would the fuel come from? Definitely from an emergency reserve somewhere. He's still the same guy who I think 2 weeks ago said that gari ya polisi is to make a come ambulance. Actually, if you are sick or you're involved in an accident or whatever it is, the police vehicle should only be used to ferry around criminals and not to help wananchi, which is really bad. Their motto always says utumishi kwa wote, and I feel like this guy is just going to mess up the whole police force with the kind of things he's saying. He's not done yet. Let's listen to the other thing he's talking about.
It might be, take it to 650 liters. It might be useful going forward. And then delivery goes closer for areas that are very far. So that issue, bear with the police officer if they ask you for fuel, because it is not because they want something small or it's not part of the corruption. It's actually the way the leasing program was structured with the 450 liters. And take it to 650 liters.
We all know the kind of police officers to deal now in this country. And him saying this, he's opening up a Pandora's box that I don't think wenyewe wako ready to deal nayo. Because now you'll be going to a police station and they'll ask you for fuel even if hata kama wako nayo ama hawana. And what he's responsible for policy making and actually sourcing for revenue that will enable police officers to run their functions on a day-to-day basis. Sisi wote tunajua all these cases zimekuwa zikihappen. Some police stations zikitumia gari za polisi kuhamisha watu. The other day I saw another picture. I look for it and then add it here. There's a guy who had posted on Twitter. There were 2 police lorries parked outside his apartment yenye inajengwa. And he was telling people, no, si ati zinaleta mawe ama any building material ama any kind of product. Ni ati they asked if they could park here, and since it's my property, I said yes, they can park here. What is wajinga? We'll always say allegedly. We know the kind of things they always do with it, but at the back of your mind, you know what exactly is happening with all these cases to do with the police, their vehicles, fuel, and the sheer amount of corruption in that particular docket. Now, he is not done. Let's continue listening to what he has to say.
Something small or it's not part of the corruption. It's actually the way the leasing program was structured with the 450 liters. And take it to 6.
Okay. Now, this is part 1 of the problems our National Security Service officers are facing. This is during his tenure. Tunajua shida ya police and Mafuta and all that did not start with Murkomen or did not start with Ruto. It cropped up from way back at tangu za Moi and all that. Now, scene 1 of him trying to justify corruption and police asking for Pesa fuel and all that. We have scene number 2. And scene number 2 now is today, the police officers who are actually involved in providing security during the CHAN tournament have actually been paid. Sounds like a good thing. Now let me break it down for you. The first agreement that was there between the National Police men and women who are supposed to provide security during the CHAN tournament was supposed to be 12,000 shillings per day for each officer, which was supposed to cater for their food, transport, and I think what was the other item that it was supposed to cater for? Food, transport, and just a minute, I think I have the whole list here. It was supposed to cover transport, meals, and logistics. Yeah, logistics to be precise. Now, as negotiations were going on and the tournament had already started, remember this was the initial agreement. You provide security, tunafanya hivi na hivi. That's why some of these officers were really aggressive. Ikikuja ni ground, you needed to show that the money you're being paid is actually worth the kind of work you guys are doing for ground. The amount was reduced from 12,000 to 3,300 shillings per day. That's about 8,700 shillings in deductions. Huge chunk of money. Now, after that, they still continue to provide security day in, day out. But today, the local organizing committee for CHAN has actually paid the police officers. And do you know how much they were actually paid per day? They were paid 300 shillings for each day they were working. That is a whooping 97.5, if I'm not wrong, % deduction in the initially agreed upon figure. Are they in the right position to complain? Yes. But do we still blame them for accepting and listening to the lies they're being told by the current regime? Yes. Currently, everyone knows if this government tells you this, they do something different. The police force is not an exception. You are promised that you're going to be protected if you kill citizens. Well, you have police officers handling cases on their own. Players were promised a couple of prizes here and there. The guys started deducting their prize money and even luring them into affordable housing, right? Now he's backtracking and saying that for you to get the affordable housing, you must contribute 1,000 shillings and the government will contribute 1,000 shillings from the prize money I was to give you. And so on and so forth. There's so many things that he has not delivered from the promises he made to the players. The police are still suffering the same. Wananchi have been suffering for the longest time. I think the police officers thought that sisi ni wenda wazimu sometimes when people were complaining and even demonstrating about this. Now, ukiona mwenzako amenyolewa, I think that's what they say. Yeah, ukiona cha mwenzako kimenyolewa, chako kitie maji. Same thing is happening. It's their turn. Kaa chini, funga the tap around your neck, tulieni sasa. Mnanyolewa vile inafaa. I'm not happy for the fact that, the police officers were actually undercut on the deal that they initially agreed upon. But you get what you basically deserve. You can't really protect such a guy and such an administration and still hope for the best. Yeah. That's it for now. In case anything unfolds, I'll keep you posted. Adios.